Hello, friends. Welcome to Akulmak Live. And today we would like to discuss the matter related to women empowerment. There are more and more leaders coming and showing their skills and also leading the way in our corporates as well as an army, every walks of life. To discuss this matter, I will be joined by a very senior person, a professional from our pedigree, Aditi Palit. So let us welcome her, friends. Morning, hello Aditi, how are you? And welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Chandrakant. I'm good. You know, the season, the Christmas season, this festive season is very special for two reasons. I'm educated in a convent, and secondly, I come from Kolkata, where there were a lot of Anglo-Indians. You know, it was ruled by the British capital. We still have a lot of Anglo-Indians here, and Park Street, the life of Kolkata is really decorated, you know, at this time, and a lot of good foods. The restaurants are, rustling up. So it's a very joyous time. Feel this, and I love the winters, of all seasons. So I'm in a very good mood at the moment.
Well,
I
Aditi,
hope you're doing good too.
oh yes, Aditi, I think we are enjoying the chill here in North India. The temperature is touching almost like 4 to 5 degrees in the night. But I think
Yes.
let us heat up our, as you can see, the fire is, in my background.
Yes.
So
Yes, I'm seeing that.
yeah, so I think let's discuss about the women empowerment, where more and more women leadership is now being visible, especially in the army, in the corporate sector, also in the government. What is your opinion on this?
See, as you can guess out, this is a topic very dear to my heart. I have always been, as said, I had the leadership qualities from school, was captain. Then in college, I led a couple of departments in extracurricular activities. Then went on to HCL. I did HR, and all along, I felt that that special quality in women, because they can adjust. If they can get married and go to a new house and adopt the family and adopt their ways and do excel at home, they can work outside too. It's only that the opportunities have been denied in the past, and now it's opening up. So that's why I would love to discuss on this topic.
Perfect, Aditi ji. So you mentioned about the opportunities getting denied. Why you say so? Why you feel that the opportunities were there, but they were denied to women in the past?
In the sense that it's still, as I said, that the preconceived notions of, owners. I hope I don't, ruffle anyone's feathers, but owners and managers, that women could not take up risky jobs. When I came into training, there also it was said that, the engineers could not be sent to the sites. Right. I have spoken on this before, that if the company provides adequate security for women, work employees and leaders, they will surely go out and work shoulder to shoulder with their, women, with their main counterparts. This, the main barrier was in the mindset of men.
Well, Aditi ji,
Second,
sure.
yes. The another thing is that again, at home also, from parents, then after marriage, that look after the house. That's your primary concern. Here in India, it carried on even when I started working. I had to make certain, may I say, sacrifices. Once I got married, my mother-in-law laid some rules. I was at a position where there were meetings at HCL. When I came at home, returned at 9. That was not a good a sign of a good bahu. And then when my child was born, then I was made to feel that he's being neglected and kept in the care center or except at that time also we had those barriers. So I'm happy to see over the years that's been changing.
Well, Aditi ji, in my opinion, I think India is definitely better off than other countries. And in my own company, we have maintained 50-50 ratio. So even though we are a small company, we are making sure that we are maintaining a certain amount of parity. But let's look at United States. They are feeling so proud now because they have a vice president for the first time in 400 years of becoming a country, sovereign country, a woman and a vice president. But look at India, we had queens who were in the ruling position, and we had leaders, and even today we respect our women quite a lot. So I like to discuss sort of a discussion mode with you and try to understand where the opportunities were there available but not given. What are those instances that you have seen, like you mentioned in your home that there were some rules laid down for you? I think those were for your security. Now things are much better. But going back to the mood question, opportunities were available but not given. How you qualify this statement?
uh, I meant to say that if the opportunity is like equal role, even in what you said, I agree totally. As far as respect generally of women, India is one of the leading countries. Definitely, we have now it's coming up, but there were domestic violence in foreign countries. That's not because our press. We are a democratic country, so it came out more. But there was everything. What I meant to say, the general strata of women in our country did not enjoy the kind of freedom. May I say, I'm talking from experience that if two professionals got married, invariably the wife had to make the sacrifices. So that way, now what is being, I'm so happy, and that is what we have been asking, even the government, the company owners, that give the 50-50 chance. That was not there. I've researched a lot, and from my experience, say, as I mentioned, any risk factor will always be there. For a male professional, even can be returning at 12 o'clock at night can be a risk factor. Say what the dacoit or anything, any criminal, antisocial attacks. They don't attack whether it's a man or a woman. If it's snatching, murdering, etc. Now maybe because these criminals perceive women as the softer the gender. That's why the target may be more. But at the workplace, I'm talking of at the workplace, whenever an opportunity for promotion came, this is based on research and my experience, the manager, the topmost manager, leader, the first question is, given your commitments at home, we take it that you won't be giving full attention to your role at the workplace. So that is what I said about preconceived notion. Now women had to prove themselves, whereas men didn't. Now this is what I'm saying now. I tell my trainees, that the female trainees, the girls, that you'll have, sorry. Sorry for the interruption. That you're far more, luckier. That the opportunities now are being, acknowledged and extended to all at the workplace in any organization, irrespective of the gender. Another interesting fact: once I became a facilitator, a coach, when I do a lot of campus to corporate trainings. there one of the questions which were common still there, that the women, the girl is, if asked the question, will you be willing to relocate whenever you're asked to? And we were told to train that you cannot say a no. Once you say a no, whatever reason, you have elderly parents, you have other commitments in the city, no. Once you say no, you will not be considered after that. You won't be sent to the next round. Okay, so now what I said, I tell my trainees, the female trainees, you know why? Because earlier girls used to say, if you studied engineering, because I take this because I've done a lot of campus to corporate trainings in the engineering colleges. Now, if you studied with them, with your male friends or classmates, you have the same degree, then you have to be prepared. If they are ready to relocate, you will also have to be ready to relocate. Now, what you will ask the company, what are the measures that they have taken for the security? Now, at a plant, will the women employees be expected to return in private vehicles at 12 o'clock at night? You are free to ask that. Not all companies provide that. You can say yes or no on that, but the very word that are you ready to relocate, and it's a no, that if you have to fight for equal rights, you have to be open to those. Parents are only child, parents not willing, that they cannot say. And the mindset of these girls have changed. They have said, no, ma'am, there's no question. We've studied, we've made our parents understand, I have the qualities, I'm as good as the male classmates. If I get an offer here, even abroad, if I get, I'm going to, take it. That's what I said. It's both sides, the employers and the employees, their mindset has changed. And that's a very good sign.
Well, Aditi, I fully agree with you. The mindset has really changed in the last 20, 30 years, definitely. And opportunities are also available. And I think the situation for men and women are same. For example, if there are elderly payments, the men can also say no for relocation. However, at this juncture, I would like to ask you, are there any roles, any jobs which are not suitable for women from your point of view?
I don't think so. There is any, but and especially now that the army, what had previously, I have people known relatives in the army, in the defense, the three defense sides, so the army, navy, and the air force. Now, what happened is they didn't send the women to the battlefield. Means even a surgeon, a doctor, and a lady army doctor was not allowed to go. Now, why? Because it's absolutely in the myths. And if you're fighting terrorists, say they don't regard men, women. Now, that is a different, a ball game, because their risk factor is different. But the very fact that women cannot get into the army or the air force, now, the initial barrier, that was not right, which, as you have mentioned, that has been taken away. Otherwise, I don't think there is any kind of job where women cannot prove themselves. They have in professions, in fields we never imagined, they have come out and proved their mettle.
I fully agree with you, Aditi. At this juncture, I have one question which is coming in my mind, because if you look at the history of India, we were never like this. If you look at the pre-invasion started, Mughal or the Muslim invasion started in India. The women were fighting. There were a lot of stories of warrior princes, queens, and also generally women were also in the armed forces and all walks of life. There was no barrier as such. So, what is the reason for India, having very advanced thoughts in the past and moving away from there and then becoming more conservative? Are there any historic reasons for that?
Yes, yes, I am going to say that now. I don't want anyone, any sect, or any division of people to mind. I'm just saying on history because history was one of my favorite subjects. My mother is on those times MA BEd, and she has inculcated, and I love the stories. I have found when it was, initially they were just one kind of people who inhabited India. There were a lot Indus Valley, right from the Indus Valley situation, civilization where women were purohits, were priests. It's lately that women have been allowed to perform certain functions as priests. In our Bengali community, since last 2 years, Bengali women priests have been performing Durga Puja, which is a very difficult puja. Now, what happened is the influx of invaders that changed the scenario, where it was, the invasion, and then the very core of a civilization getting challenged. Then the original inhabitants felt threatened. Then they believed that we men had to go out and fight the invaders, and the women had to stay at home fully protected, and they should not go out, not be educated, not face the public. That is the turning point when I, having read history over and over again, the mindset of the original inhabitants, it narrowed down and became conservative. And then it has been a sliding, and then came the Britishers. Some accepted that not everything was bad about them, and we have learned a lot education, and their etiquette. I must say we have learned from them. Then some of the original descendants, they accepted this British rule with. Maybe some found that they were too open, too liberal. Some accepted that. Some have carried on the conservative stack. Now, I won't say that the original inhabitants did not have flaws. The caste system, it was conservative. Irrespective of women or men, the lower strata of people did not enjoy any liberty. And I'm very sad to say, though over several centuries, still now, there are certain places where in our temples where the lower strata people are not allowed to, enter. That has continued. But that is not related to our topic today. Men and women face that. Otherwise, a lot of opportunities. Again, we can go back to the topic. Definitely, they are being given, and women are grabbing them and proving themselves. You talked of the queen. Now we have Indira Nui. We had Chanda Kochar, Kiran Majumdar Shaw, and then HCL. Now, when I was with HCL, then Mr. Shiv Nadar, the chairman, I mean, he had a magnetic personality. Now he has a daughter who has taken over, and she's doing wonderfully well. So my son is with the Dr. Reddy's. He has also confirmed. I have read that the founder had only daughters, and they have taken over. Now the son-in-laws and the grandchildren have taken over. But what I want to say is that once women come into leading roles, once they become leaders, they see to it that the women employees are getting the right opportunities. That is why the role of women leaders are increasing day by day.
Aditi ji, I think let's agree on this point that the opportunities are much more and the environment is also better for women to operate. And now the pandemic is there, and so it's very, very conducive environment where work from home is there, so women can create the work-life balance.
I wanted to say that.
So, what are the opportunities from your point of view in 2022, especially for women, especially when you are associated with so many large organizations and you're well known? So, from your point of view, what are the new emerging opportunities for women in 2022?
As you're right, as I'm interacting with men, first of all, at this juncture, it means towards recently 2-3 years, I have always expressed my opinion. Then let's call leaders. Let's not call men leaders and women leaders. Leaders have certain obligations, certain qualities they need to have in them, irrespective of their gender, and they should execute the same kind of responsibilities. Now, coming to the pandemic, as you rightly mentioned, now work from home. I'll just refer back to my opening statement. If a woman can handle all the different roles at home so well and run they are also they're dealing with finances, everyday expenses, so what I have faced also, so they can also perform at the workplace. Now, there has been certain things as the pandemic has exposed, is that if there are small babies, then some women employees are getting distracted. Therein, I think what needs to be done is that work-life balance and the strict differentiation between the working hours and the after-work hours. You're not traveling, you're not commuting, but there has to be a stop. And thereby, they will understand that at home also, if they are responsible leaders, whether male or female, that they will not impose on the free time of their employees, the managers. Make it a cut, 7 p.m. means 7 p.m. But when it was offline work, when it was physical work, if it was 7 p.m., I've been hearing that managers have been calling up at 10, 12, because they had to handle this work from home issue also. Understand, initial few months, but now the cutoff should be strict. So here, and the second point is, again, my favorite topic is empathy. Let me claim that women are natural empathizers. If they can accept, their husband's family or as their own, the parents as her parents, and the siblings of the husband as their own, they can, adopt this empathetic role at the workplaces. That's why they embrace the new employees well, that they execute the work, they make the new employees understand from a different angle, from the angle of empathy. Why? Because I've seen that most men are after the target. If a team leader is given the target, and all hell will go loose if one of the team member does not comply with the target. But I've seen women leaders that I will take, okay, so your father became ill, you could not fulfill the target, I will do the rest of your work. That is the need of the hour and the natural inclination, and let's all acknowledge that, and let the the company owners, the managers give this role, that if they, then I'm sure the rate of attrition, which is really worrying at the moment, that will surely come down. Of course, we have to ensure that the employees perform to the optimum level, but there may be genuine reasons why an employee couldn't. It's not, most of the times it's taken that the employee is not trustworthy, employee is not dedicated, is not responsible. There are cases like this. But just because someone does not perform, it's been, you and I are members of LinkedIn, and this has come up again. Instead of asking an employee to leave, just leave, because he or she did not, fulfill their commitments. Let us retrain them. Let us upskill them. Then if they don't perform, then it's there. But at the drop of a hat, do not ask them to leave. So more and more women, I'm more than 100% sure leaders will instill this mentality into the company ethics.
Perfect, Aditi ji. I think you have so much knowledge and wisdom. We cannot bring all of that out in few minutes. We will find another opportunity to discuss this very important subject. I think we are all heading towards the celebrations now because of Christmas. So wishing you and your family Merry Christmas in advance. And we will catch up in the next week's session. Until then, I'd like to say goodbye to you and enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Chandrakant. Wish you the same, and the same to the whole family of your platform and to the extended family, their extended families. We should go into 22 much better mood, that we will bring back our, whatever we were before the pandemic, back to focus, and we will do our best and get the Indian incorporated and the economy back and running, not only just operating, but running once again. I am hopeful. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi ji. We will catch up, and I'd like to say goodbye for today. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
So, friends, we had such an interesting discussion with Aditi ji, and she is very well known in the industry, especially the corporate sector. So, if somebody or some of our viewers want to reach out to Aditi, they can send a message to us on the email, which will be published at the end of this video, and we will make the connection happen. I'd like to say goodbye, and I'll catch you in the next one.